Dhrupad, the oldest surviving classical style of Hindustani vocal music. This is Khyal, another major form of Hindustani classical music. These two forms of music are connected across aeons of history through the rise and fall of great empires, stories of kings and court musicians, and travelers, and the mixing of civilizations separated by miles of land. To explore the distinct trajectories of these two forms of classical Hindustani music, we have to travel farther away to Iran and therein back in time to a period when Iran was home to the Sassanid Empire. Cultural interactions between South, East, Central and West Asia date back to at least this period of the shared histories of these regions. This empire sowed the seeds for centuries of cultural exchange across Asia.
After about 6 centuries, the Ilkhanid reign was established in large areas of Central Asia by descendants of Genghis Khan. Most of the Mongols converted to Islam, while the earlier Mongol court remained Buddhist. Later on, during the reign of Muhammad Khudabandi Oljaito, several monasteries were established that attracted monks from far and wide to Persian cities.
Notably, Oljaito was himself sympathetic to Buddhism and Christianity, apart from other Islam-based theologies, and this nurtured an environment of cultural exchange in the land.
Consequently, this period saw the intermingling of artistic influences from across Asia. For instance, the Chinese dragon and the Indian lotus, two culturally distinct and representative motifs of China and India, can be found in Persian art from this time.
Meanwhile, in India, the Gupta Empire, a large and imposing presence, had come to an end around the 6th century CE. A large number of princely states had emerged, providing a rife environment for localized development of various languages, cultures, writing systems, and religions. Travelers from Persia, including Sufis, enabled major cultural interactions between India and Iran, which eventually led to the growth of Sufi thought in India.
Natives of India, especially from Hyderabad, visited the greater Khorasan region and trained with Sufi mystics such as Sheikh Allah al-Dawla, and many settled down in Iran, learned Persian language and poetry.
This led to the emergence of an Indian style of Persian literature in the region. Indian folklore also made its way into local stories. Sufi mystics also traveled to India and gained prominence in the region with the support of the Delhi Sultanate.
For instance, Khwaja Mu'in traveled from Persia to Delhi and later lived in Ajmer until his death. He was one of the first Sufi saints in India who accepted music as a form of prayer. He was venerated by Muslims, Sikhs, and Hindus alike. His followers and spiritual descendants are today collectively referred to as the Chishti Order. Among these was the eminent poet and singer Amir Khusrow. Khusrow was one of the most well-known and iconic figures in the cultural history of the Indian continent. Considered as the father of Qawwali, popular lore also credits Khusrow with the development of the Khyal, perhaps questionably so.
Our journey doesn't end yet. There are some uncertainties with the origins of Khyal. Perhaps more accurately, Niamat Khan, also known as Sadarang, the chief court musician of Muhammad Shah Rangile in the 17th century, may be credited with being the founder of Khyal. While Amir Khusrow Dehlavi's name appears often in Khyal singing, Khyal as a genre was not codified until at least 5 centuries after Khusrow's time. Thus, there is some uncertainty to the historical accuracy of the timeline concerning the origin, development, and eventual codification of Khyal that happened in more recent times. For instance, Mian Tansen was the chief Dhrupad court singer in the Mughal court of Akbar in the 16th century. The Aini Akbari of Abu Fazl, Akbar's court historian, makes no mention of Khyal. This work is dated to have been written in 1593. In fact, the first mention of Khyal occurs in a Sanskrit text from around 1637. This leads one to infer that the growth of Khyal as a distinctive genre likely happened between 1593 and 1637. Khyal today is considered one of 2 foundational vocal genres of North Indian classical music along with Dhrupad. These forms share this identity as opposed to lighter forms such as Thumri, Ghazal, and Qawwali. Khyal gained popularity during the latter part of the Mughal period. Of note is also the relationship between Khyal and Qawwali. Qawwali being the much older genre of devotional music associated with Sufi prayer in India. While Khyal is referred to as Ilm-ul-Ilham, that is, knowledge of the voice, Qawwali is Ilm-ul-Kalam, meaning or knowledge of the word. These uncertainties apart, what is clear is that Khyal, as a genre, is associated with the names of 3 personalities: Amir Khusrow, Sadarang, and Hussain Shah Sharki, the ruler of Jaunpur. The influence of Sufism on Hindustani music is best illustrated by outlining some fundamental differences in approach to singing of Dhrupad and Khyal.
Dhrupad is a technique-dominant form of raga music and has 4 parts to it: Asthai, Antara, Sanchari, Abhog. They are composed in tals played in pakhawaj, mainly dhamar and chautal. Themes in Dhrupad are predominantly devotional.
Khyal, on the other hand, encapsulates the melodic framework of the ragas, the grammar of which is fixed by the notes permitted in the raga and the rules of their movements. Though it maintains the purity of the note in rag presentation, Khyal encourages freedom and fluidity in the movement of those notes.
Significantly, The word khayal, is Arabic and it means imagination. Right? The text of the khayal is often not as significant as it is in the Drupad form. While many of the lyrics are philosophically deep or devotional, khayal also uses romantic text and perhaps even mundane ones. What is, however, crucial to this genre is the imaginative expansion of the rag using subtle tonal movements.
Khayal also uses a greater variety of tals that have come into existence with the emergence of the tabla. The language of tabla is derived from that of the Pakhavaj. However, it also imbibes influences of other drum traditions which originated in Iran and adjacent areas. Today, khayal stands as a genre of music, a distinctive and unique amalgam of Persian cultural elements and of Drupad. One of the most well-known maestros of khayal in recent times was Ustad Amir Khan from the mid-1900s. He is known for manifesting khayal in all its glory and for giving it a concrete concert aesthetic.